Hello and welcome to Tartan Touchdown. We are now less than a week away from the IFAF World Championships in Düsseldorf, Germany. Arguably the highest stakes international tournament there has been to date. Over 4 days between the 13th and the 16th of August, 16 of the best women's and 16 of the best men's national teams will be competing not only to become the world champions, but 2 teams in each bracket, other than the United States, will punch their tickets to the LA 2028 Olympics. Now, at Tartan Touchdown, as Scots, we firmly are behind our Team GB athletes. But since day one, we've always taken great pride in being the conversation with the world of American football. So with that in mind, tonight we want to take a different approach. We're going to take a deeper look at the opposition that our GB women will face in Germany. And while the British women enter the tournament with great confidence, looking to secure both an Olympic berth and indeed a medal at the championships, they've been drawn into what has been dubbed as the group of death against 3 opponents that we have recent form against. 3 of the top 4 sides at the 2025 Euros in Paris, including GB, but also Austria and France. And rounding out the pack, only the Asia-Oceania champions, China. Now, their world ranking of 18 kind of disguises a team there that's rapidly on the rise. Now, for those of you watching YouTube, you'll notice it's just myself right now. But to help talk us through the pool, I've enlisted a few expert insights from a couple of our rival nations. First up, we've got Sophie Spitzer. Sophie's from Team Austria, and she knows what it takes to reach the podium. She left the 21 championships in Israel with a bronze medal. And if Team Austria can do that again, they could be on their way to LA. Now, GB and Austria actually faced each other twice last year, splitting the series 1 each. Austria took a comfortable victory at the World Games in China. However, Great Britain would actually avenge that the month later in what turned out to be an epic gold medal match at the Paris Euros, winning 34-33 in overtime. So that maybe gives you a bit of the background, but let's flip it over now to Sophie and hear what she has to say. Joining me now from Team Austria, we have Sophie Spitzer. Sophie, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. I'm doing great. And it's great to have you on and just to hear about everything that's going through your head as we approach the World Championships. So with that in mind, of course, this isn't your first tournament. How does it feel to know that as we speak, we're only a matter of days away from the World Championships for 2026?
It's not my first tournament. Somehow it still feels like it's the biggest one I've gone to, even though it's not that many teams or anything. But it just feels like this tournament matters so much more than the tournaments before. And I'm really excited, and we've been putting in a lot of work. And yeah, I can't wait, but also I'm getting nervous. And yeah, the feeling right before the tournament is always crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right there. And of course, this year's version of the World Championships is going to be 16 teams. So it's a little bit smaller than the previous version in 2024. But every team has earned the right to be there. It's going to be a very competitive field. And of course, you've just come off the back of the World Games in 2025. We played against the top 8. So every game is going to be really challenging.
But that's what makes the tournament so exciting, that you know that from the first game on, every game will be difficult. Every game will be hard fought for. And that is why we want to play flag football.
Yeah. Of course, just for people who maybe aren't familiar, so of course, you're joining us from Team Austria, one of the best teams in the world. You have finished top 4 at the World Championships in 2024, top 4 at the World Games 2025, silver medalists at the Euro flag in 2025 as well. Can you maybe just speak to us again about the culture of American football and flag football in particular in Austria?
Flag football has been not big in Austria, but successful in Austria for many, many years. We've won bronze medal at the World Championship 2021. Actually, the women before I joined won the silver medal at the World Championship in Miami in 2016. The women's program as well as the men's program have been incredible since they began. I think Austria has always been shaping what flag football is in Europe. We've had really well working league, women's and men's, for several years now. We've had, I think, 10 consecutive Austrian championship titles in a row for the women now. And it's growing so rapidly, and it's amazing to see. But also American football has been huge in Austria for a while. I think everybody that knows American football in Europe knows the Vienna Vikings being really successful, knows of the Austrian national team being really successful, having won the last European Championship, the under 19 age group, having won, I think, every single game in the last 5 to 6 years. So Austria really has been investing in flag football and American football for several years, which is, I think, one of the main reasons why we are one of the top nations, even though we're such a small country.
Absolutely. Very, very competitive country. And obviously you're now getting to that stage where, we've mentioned European championships and world championships, but now it really does go to the next level. As you mentioned, this is probably the most significant tournament in flag football today, because not only do you have the opportunity to become a world champion, but you can also qualify for the Olympic Games. What does that opportunity mean to you?
I think ever since the opportunity of flag actually being in the Olympic Games has come up, this sport has changed rapidly. It has grown. People have shown interest. Money has been put into the sport. It has become more professional on all levels. And it's been crazy to kind of be part of this process, because people expect of us to be fully invested as if we're paid professional athletes, while the money is not there yet. So we're all in. Everybody's completely locked in on this goal and kind of living through the process of making this sport more professional, while the professionalism is slowly catching up after us. So the change is insane to see, because I've been with Team Austria on the practice squad for 10 years now. And 10 years ago, the whole philosophy of being on the national team was completely different than it is now. The work ethic that is necessary now was nowhere to be found 10 years ago. Not that the goals didn't work, but it was just not necessary on that level. And now everybody's so competitive. The field is getting closer and closer. Teams are getting better. Teams are putting in the time. And it's just great to see how fast this sport that we all love is developing.
You mentioned obviously the investment that's now going into the sport, but certainly there's still a great deal of personal investment. So I've seen you must be one of the most well-travelled flag football players of the past 12 months. You've been to tournaments in Spain, you've been to a tournament in Australia, I believe. So just talk to us a little bit about your passion for the sport.
Well, I have a passion for travel and I have a passion for the sport. And whenever I can, I try to combine the two. I also love that flag football is played a little bit different everywhere you go. Whenever my partner and I travel, we pack our cleats, and wherever we are, we try to find a tournament. We try to find a team to join a practice or go watch a game, because flag football is just a little bit different everywhere. And somehow it is still the same community. You always meet someone you know. You always meet someone that you've met at a tournament before. It's one huge family, because it's still small enough for everyone to kind of somehow know of each other. But it's growing and it's growing, and it's amazing to see, because at the tournament in Australia, there was so many talented girls that were playing their first tournament with our team, and there were so many just complete newcomers to the sport, but bringing the energy of we're going to LA, even though they just started. And it's amazing to see as someone who's been invested in this sport for so long.
This is the big thing, that in order for the sport to grow, you need to bring more people in along the way. But it's great to see that as every tournament goes by and you travel, you see that interest just perking up all across the world. Fantastic. And turning our attention now on to the World Championships itself. So as you mentioned, the quality of competition has gone up remarkably since the last tournament. You've been drawn into a group as part of the Austrian team with some very familiar opponents. So of course you have France, China, and our own Great Britain. So it's going to be a very difficult tournament for all sides right from the outset. What's your thoughts in terms of the pool that you've been drawn into?
It's definitely a difficult group to be drawn into, but we're excited for it. We've been prepping for it. And we have, I would say, the wild card of China, because we barely know them. We've seen 2 tournaments of them, and they're all professional athletes, completely invested in it, paid full-time athletes. So I think the jump they must have made since their last tournament will be huge. We will again be their very first game, so we won't have any time to see them play before we get to play them. So we'll have to adjust on the field. I'm really excited for the challenge of not knowing what a team will bring, because you know the system of a team at some point. If you've seen them play for several tournaments, of course, new things come and some things change, but the system and the core of a team kind of stays the same. For China, we don't know what their system is yet. We will find out on the field.
Of course. And you mentioned that this isn't the first time you've had to play China for the first game, because you, with Team Austria, played China in their first ever IFAF game. And I know from my own experience before the World Games, we were speaking to members of various different teams in the background, trying to ask them, what do you know about China? And some of the biggest programs who you think would have, really in-depth scouting are just like, I don't know anything about it. So for you, obviously, your team came up as 47-45 winners, I think, in that game, a very high scoring game. What was that like for you, particularly as a defensive player trying to prepare?
Yeah, the whole World Games was I would say, difficult for us as a defense, because we were thrown in together in a completely new squad. Everybody was playing a new position. It was my first tournament as captain. We had 2 complete rookies on the field, so it was challenging. We learned a lot throughout the tournament. It being our very first game with this new squad was rather difficult, but I think we picked up within the game. Of course, the high score is never a good feeling you leave with, but I think we did great in adapting throughout the game, and it got better throughout the game. And the squad that was unprepared last year is insanely prepared this year.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, of course, you also had to face off against Great Britain, our own team, who you actually faced twice last year. Now, from my perspective, I'd like to speak about what a great game the gold medal game for Euroflag was, but of course, you also took a victory in the quarterfinals at the World Games. So it's a really strong rivalry between what are the top 2 teams in Europe. So what was it like for you playing in each of those games?
I think in both of the games, we had the momentum on our side. We were starting off really strong. I mean, the Euros final was 20-0 at some point for us. So I think personally, if we just played our game and we finished our game, we could have won the Euros as well. We ended up being unfocused, making mistakes, giving them the opportunity to close the gap, and then end up scoring on us in the overtime, and then take the risk of going for 2, which I love that decision, would do again every day. But it was exciting games, both of them. I know a lot of the goals personally, because European football community is small. So it's always fun to be on the field with people you know on a friendly basis, and then to be in this kind of rivalry. But in the end, it's all love for the game. And I think we all play flag because we love it and because we love the community around it. So even though there is a bit of a rivalry on the field, I think it never had any negative tone to it. It was always positive energy. And I think everybody enjoyed playing both of these games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that definitely came through both during, but also after the Euroflag final. That I think there was a great sense of achievement on both sides in terms of what they put out there, because it was a fantastic advert for the game. Of course, we had a World Games final that also came down to the final play, but then to see overtime and, as you say, a decision because of overtime rules, similar to NFL, that you both get to possess the ball once. And with GB scoring 7 points, you decided to go for 2 after your touchdown to win, which, of course, that conversion was batted away. But it was a brave decision, probably the right call to make. It was a great advert for the sport.
I think it was exactly what a final of a tournament like that should be. It was high quality. It was exciting for us. It was exciting for the fans. I think it is exactly how a Euros final should be. You don't want a blowout game in a final. You do want the competition to be high. You do want the energy to be high. You want the best to be out there and fight for it. And I think that's what happened. I think both teams gave it their all. GB came out on top this time. that sport, one of the teams has to win.
Absolutely. I think it was a fantastic game on both sides. And I think, it's fair to say that whilst we've talked a little bit about your group opponents, you're not just there to focus on the group games. So particularly as a defensive player, you've mentioned you want to play against the best. So are there any players that you're really hoping you'll get the chance to match up against over the course of the tournament in Düsseldorf?
I would like to play against Canada again, because I think we as a team developed a lot since last year. And I think the games versus Canada was where we struggled the most at World Games. So I would like to get the opportunity to do better this time. I had the opportunity to play Mexico just a few weeks ago when they were here in Austria. That was a great experience because they're an amazing team as well. I've played the USA in a few times over the last few years. So anybody who wants to come my way, bring it on.
Now, that's the kind of conference we like to see in it. I think it's very clear that Austria as a team are really only ever maybe a player or two away from getting a massive result. Of course, we mentioned the European final from last year, but also in the World Games semi-finals, recall you had a real shootout against the USA on the goal line, literally a yard out. So I think it just goes to show that really with one or two moments, anything can change, and that's what's become so great about this game, because as you say, you don't want to see blowouts, you want to see competition. And I think we're now getting to a stage in the sport where, yes, there are, in the ranking, there's a top two teams, but actually there's also another 3 or 4 teams just behind who are capable of winning on any given day.
I think it takes a good day of us, of course, to beat one of the top teams, but we do have them. And we are capable of playing our best game, and we will bring our best game to Düsseldorf. And I think there's a few teams that have the potential to go all the way if they have their best day, if they play their best game. Because I've seen a lot of the girls ball out. There's so many amazing players on all of the teams. The skill is rising, the level of play is rising, the coaching is rising. It is amazing to see how flag football is developing. And yeah, I think there's quite a few teams that if they bring their best game, have a shot at going all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Austria, I'm sure in your mind, definitely one of those teams.
Absolutely.
Big nod there, big nod. Excellent. Well, no, that's been fantastic. Thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us this evening, Sophie.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be in Düsseldorf, and we hopefully look forward to being another one of the faces to meet up with you on the scene, and best of luck for the tournament.
Thank you.
That was a great conversation. Austria, consistently a team in the top 4, and a side that no one will be taking lightly at any point in the championships. Now, before we move on to our next guest, I just want to acknowledge Team China, who are not represented on the podcast this evening, but their coach, Patrick Ali, has been quoted via IFAF recognising the standard of competition, saying that our group top to bottom is probably the toughest overall. We don't have anybody that I would just consider a win. Now, this tournament will mark the first anniversary of China's debut in international competition. They've already recorded victories over established nations like Japan and Australia on the way to a continental championship, and they have a firm foundation to build on. We'll be looking to speak to Team China, and in fact, every nation, as we bring you coverage live from Düsseldorf every day throughout the tournament. So please make sure, if you're not already, that you're following us on our socials to make sure you get that content direct to your feed. Next up, we have Lucie Vinot from Team France. Lucie is a veteran of several international tournaments as part of a highly competitive French team that took our GB women right down to the wire in the semi-finals of the Euros in Paris, only to be decided in the final seconds. GB eventually winning out 27-21 in front of a raucous crowd. That was despite an epic performance from our next guest. I'd strongly encourage you to check out the clip on our Instagram and see what we're talking about. So, without further ado, let's hear from Lucie. Joining me now, we have Lucie Vinot from Team France and also Flag Fenris. Lucie, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, very well. Thanks for joining us this evening, and indeed for doing this this interview in English. Really appreciate it. Your French, I'm sure, much better than sorry, your English much better than my French.
Let's see.
So, Lucie, you have actually been a part of over 25 flag football teams during the course of your career. As you mentioned, flag fundraise, but you've also participated in the Tampa World Championships, won a championship there, and now you have the opportunity to become an IFAF World Champion in just a matter of weeks. How are you feeling about the tournament?
I'm really excited. I really want to play. We wait the whole year to play, so right now we just want to be on the field and show to everyone what we can do.
And of course, the one of the big things about this tournament compared to previous versions of the IFAF World Championships is the chance not only to become a world champion, but also to qualify for the Olympics. What does that opportunity mean to you?
It's a dream. As a kid, you dream about representing your country at the Olympic Games. And now to know that it's possible for flag football, it's just incredible. It's crazy for us, for all athletes who are playing right now, but also for the next generation. We know that we will have more opportunities for the next. So yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I guess not only for you, for the growth of the sport, we've seen it in so many countries, the increase in the coverage. I saw recently that ESPN will be covering the championships in Mexico. I think RTL in the German-speaking countries is going to be covering the final of the event. What has this meant for the growth of the sport in France specifically?
I think it's the highest level that you could imagine to play. So it's the same thing for all sports. So of course, everyone dreams about that, and we will have more opportunities for the country, for our sports. And it's the same thing for all countries right now. So yeah, it's a big opportunity for everyone to dream about that.
Yeah, well, it's just an incredible opportunity for everyone to go and take the sport to the highest possible level. Just thinking about the tournament itself, talk to us about your preparations, because with the growth of the sport and the opportunity for the Olympics, it seems like every country has been doing more, traveling more, gathering for more camps. What has that been like from the French side?
We started our process in November, so we did a lot of work for several months. We had a training camp every month. We also traveled in Tampa to play. It wasn't a national project, but some of the national players were here. So it was another good step to compete against the best teams in the world. And several weeks ago, we traveled in Switzerland to play against some national team. So yeah, it was another final step before the World Championship this summer.
We're definitely seeing more and more of that. I know there's many countries take their teams to overseas tournaments. Certainly Great Britain have also travelled to Austria for the men's team. The women's team, again, they also went to Tampa back in January. So it's just really exciting to see the international players doing more and more to develop so that they're at their best when the competition starts in a couple of weeks' time.
It's a goal for all countries. We need to travel more and to compete against some other teams because, I played for the first time in 2021 for my first World Championship, but we have only one international tournament per year. So if you want to compete against some new teams, you have a choice to travel.
Absolutely. Now, turning our attention to the tournament itself, the group that France have been drawn in with Great Britain and also Austria and finally China, it's been declared as the group of death. What are your thoughts on such a difficult group?
We know all these teams. We play against all of them, including China, because they were here at the Tampa tournament in January. So we know that it will be some tough games, but we trust in our work and we aren't afraid of anyone. So we just want to stay focused on ourselves, play our flag football, like play our level and just, stay focused on the present, take game after game and see what happens. We know that we could achieve great things and we will achieve great things. So it will be a really good challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think it's really interesting because I did realize that you'd faced the Chinese team back in January in Tampa, because certainly this will be the first official meeting between France and China at the World Championships. Do you feel like you have a good handle on the Chinese team, having seen them in Tampa?
I think it wasn't our national team in Tampa, so we can't compare what was the last game and what will be the next. But it will be one more time a tough games, I'm sure. Now for the World Championship, we have only 16 teams, so all of them are good. We just know that we can be first on the group. We can win all these games. We have just to stay focused, and it just only that. We will see what will happen, but we are sure about our work. So yeah.
Of course. Whilst China's a new team on the world stage, your other opponents, Austria, Great Britain, you know very well. I was looking this up. I think the last time you played Austria was back in 2023. So you did actually defeat them at the Euros in Dublin. But certainly, as a team that's consistently finished in the top fours of the most recent tournaments, they're a very difficult team to play against. What are you expecting from Austria?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing for Austria, Great Britain, and China. We have the same goal for all these games, just to take one after one and just stay focused on ourselves. It's just us versus us. And all this team played with a different style. But if you are ready for that, nothing can happen. Yeah. So we just know that all these teams are really good. They have some good players. And also every year you have a different roster. So all the team can only improve. So we are just excited to see what will happen.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Although as much as you've said it's the same for every team, I do need to ask you about Great Britain finally, because of course you faced off against Great Britain in a very tense semi-final at the Euros in Paris last year, which finished 27-21 to Great Britain. But it was a game that was only settled in the final minutes. I think you had a shot. Actually, the ball came your way on the final play. And in fact, you had to make one of the toughest, most physical catches much earlier in the game. Are you expecting that same level of competition this time round?
As I said, and I truly think that on the top four at the European Championship, if we did again all these games, the final score could be different. The same thing for the final, for the first place against Spain. Same thing for the semi-final. So I think that we have the same level right now. So it's just about a context of the game, just how we can play and how they play. And I'm sure we could do and play this game several times, and every time it will be a different end. So yeah, let's see.
Of course, I can't wait to see what happens. But you've been a part of multiple IFAF tournaments now. There's going to be fewer games per day as part of this tournament. I think you'll never have to play more than 2 games per day. As someone that's been used to be playing sometimes 3 or 4 games per day, is that an advantage as a player, or do you want to be continuously on the go?
I think to play 2 games per day is good because you can be focused on these games during the day. Sorry. And it's good to be at 200% for all these games. And we only know for the group now what we could play. And then we will see after about the placements. So I think to have only 2 games per day is good.
Yeah, excellent. Obviously, I know we talked quite a bit about the teams within the group, but of course you're not just thinking about who you're going to play in the group? Are there any other players that you're really keen to face off against during the course of the tournament?
Some players, there are several teams that I have never played against. So if I would say one team, it would be Canada, because when we played every time in Tampa, we played every time against some Canadian teams. So even if they haven't the full roster for the national team, every time we have really good games. So it could be a good challenge, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Canada, again, another team very much in the rise. They actually beat Mexico last year in the America Continentals. So, yeah, I think that'd be a fantastic challenge, and hopefully you have that opportunity.
They have a strong team, and they improve their level year after year. So, yeah, I think it will be one team to keep eyes on.
Yeah, very exciting, very exciting. Well, as I say, thank you very much for joining us this evening, Lucie. Really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us and tell us about what you're expecting from the World Championships, which start on the 13th of August. We look forward to seeing you in Germany, and we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Another great insight there from Lucie. Now, we can't lie about who we want to win out in Germany. It's going to be GB, but you cannot deny the passion and desire to compete and book those first slots in LA is equally high across all of the nations in this tournament, not just our guests this evening either. I think we can truly expect some absolutely epic moments across the 4 days of the tournament. Now, you'll notice we haven't heard from any of our GB team tonight, but we strongly recommend you check out our back catalogue on Spotify and YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts for conversations with several of the British coaches and players that we've spoken to previously. And you can expect plenty of reaction from both the GB camp and all of the competing nations throughout the tournament only on Tartan Touchdown. Now, on a quick personal note, just want to say that flag football is a sport that Dan and myself from Tartan Touchdown have been involved in going back to 2003. And we've also recently converted Sarah from the podcast to the newest Olympic sport. We're still working in Brian, but I'm sure we're going to get there someday. And it means a great deal to us to being able to have been accredited by IFAF to cover this event. And we absolutely want to do it justice, both for all of our followers at home and abroad. We're really looking forward to meeting several of the players and coaches, not just from GB, but Canada, USA, Italy, Australia, that have supported us throughout our first couple of years on the podcast. And we're looking forward to meeting many more as we continue to promote this form of the sport, which is rapidly accelerating, both at the grassroots and the global, and in fact now professional level. So if you made it this far, thank you for listening and thank you for your support. To our international listeners, a special Dankeschön, merci bien, also gracias, obrigado, grazie, and arigato to those that are listening further afield. Tartan Touchdown is made in Scotland, but is very much for the world. Again, the World Championships run from the 13th to the 16th of August. Stick with us all throughout the tournament week, starting from the Monday the 10th. And whether you're joining us in Germany or following from home, we'll see you from Düsseldorf. Thank you. Goodbye for now, and auf Wiedersehen.